What's up, Rad Lads? It's Rad, and today I wanted to talk about the Fallout 3 and New Vegas remaster that should be coming any day now, right? Alright, I know I said the Fallout 3 remaster should be happening at any time now, but that's not true. But I do want to talk a little bit about the remaster, when we can expect to have it, and what it will be like in the lead up to it. Because there has been some mighty hype for the remasters of both 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and every single time, people have just fallen flat on their face with disappointment when it turned out that this supposed hint or clue or leak turned out to be nothing. I want you guys to be excited like I am that they will come out at some point, but not duped. Don't let people farm off of your immense hype and end up getting blackpilled or something when it's not coming out at the time you thought it would or in the way that you thought. Just as a little recap of the journey that we've been on since late 2025. The Fallout Fan Day celebration had a lot of hype around it, and many people thought that hype had something to do with a remaster of Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, and when it turned out, yeah, no remaster to be spoken of, or hinted at, or a tiny little teaser or glimpse, a lot of people were let down, and some people were just straight up pissed off about it. And to rub salt into the wound, they came out with new editions of Fallout New Vegas that is monstrously overpriced, as well as talking about a new update for Fallout 4. That is nowhere near what people were wanting or expecting. Then fans noticed something strange on Steam. When looking at Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 on Steam, there were some strange inconsistencies. Some people were not able to leave reviews. Some didn't even have the games listed in the store anymore, and it has long been known that Steam will do some funky stuff when a game is about to be released. However, it turned out that some of the weird things happening weren't just localized to the Fallout games, they were affecting other games as well, and these things seem to mostly happen to localized versions of the Fallout games. So once again, people got really hyped up and let down pretty hard. Then in connection with the Season 2 of the Fallout TV series, we had this short little video where Aaron Moten, who plays Maximus, is roommates with the Vault Boy, and they kind of pal it up, and they visit some different games, one of which was Fallout 3. You see them there in the Capital Wasteland hanging out, and a lot of people thought that this was a reference to a coming remaster. That didn't really make much sense to me because we also see them in Fallout 4 and Fallout Shelter. And there's otherwise no other indication at all of any sort of remaster connected to this video. It was just a fun little promo. And again, people were disappointed. And then this one's a little dirty. There were web pages and articles that were published right there at the tail end of Season 2 of the TV show that literally had the title Fallout 3 Remaster now free via Xbox Game Pass. But it was pure clickbait. It wasn't referring to any sort of remaster that we would think of as a remaster. You know, you think of the Resident Evil series and their remasters. It was merely talking about a technical upgrade, a modernization where frame rates were lifted, there were slightly better textures and graphics. That's it. They had to know what they were doing using a word like remaster for something that literally just made the games play a little better on modern systems. Not cool, man. Not cool. And then we had the interactive map that was released with the Fallout TV series, and there was one location that had a timer, and as soon as people saw a timer, they started freaking out. This had to mean something, right? Fallout 3 Remaster, Fallout New Vegas Remaster, since that's where the TV show takes place. But no, of course not. It was just a location like all the others on the interactive map that you could go to, click around and move around, see some interesting information, look at some pictures. That was it. And once again, say it with me now, fans were disappointed. And then to top it all off, a Microsoft studio, Iron Galaxies, posted something on all of their socials, talking a little ambiguously about something coming up. And the post was a photo of some screen monitors with the iconic Fallout New Vegas "Please Stand By" screens. And people started freaking out once again. It didn't take long though for Iron Galaxies to come out and say that it had nothing to do with Fallout New Vegas, a remaster, or anything Fallout related. Apparently, this is just a screen that they like to use for their online meetings leading up to the meeting. And it didn't make that much sense either. Yes, they're a Microsoft studio. However, they are well known for their ports of other games, porting games to all sorts of different platforms and not remasters. And once again, people were disappointed. It doesn't help that there's all sorts of videos out there about new information leaked, Bethesda confirms remaster, Todd Howard came to my house, knocked on my door, and told me when the Fallout 3 remaster is going to happen. The truth of the matter is this. Yes, the remaster is coming out. Fallout 3 will be first before a Fallout New Vegas, but unfortunately it won't be soon. And I know soon is kind of a subjective term. For certain projects, soon could be in 8 years, like the next Fallout. And it makes some logical sense that they would try to time the release of a remaster with a season of the TV show, because it always garners a lot more interest in the franchise. But really, the most likely scenario is that it will be shadow dropped, not this year, but the next year. Todd Howard said in an interview with IGN that he was very pleased with the result of the Oblivion remaster and the reception of the game, and that he liked that they were able to shadow drop it. He says he likes to do that with games as much as possible, since he loves that moment when you find out about a game. And you know what? I get the hype. I get the hope. Fewer people in this world like Fallout 3 more than I do. Fallout 3 was my baby. Fallout 3 was the game that introduced me to the Fallout series, that became my favorite all-time video game series, that has now literally changed my life in ways I didn't expect. I would be absolutely stoked out of my mind for a Fallout 3 remaster. That thing drops and you will not see me for a couple weeks at least. And there is a large component of the Fallout fan base who they know of Fallout 3, they've seen some of Fallout 3, but it's an older game. It came out in 2008, and it is quite janky. It's not always the easiest to play, but above all, it can be really hard to get going on modern PCs. You've got to download mods depending on where you get it from, the 4GB patch for instance, or the Intel integrated graphics bypass. Remastering the game would modernize it in a way that it feels better to people that are newer to the series, and it looks nicer, which is always a good thing, and it should play perfectly well on these modern systems. We don't have to run to forums to figure out why Fallout 3 isn't launching or why it crashes as soon as I start a game. Trust me, I have helped more than a few people to figure that out. I'm almost tempted at this point to make a video about how to get Fallout 3 running on your PC. The internet as a whole really pushes hype and clickbait. I know, not a surprise to anyone except those that are on the internet for the very first time today. Hello, welcome to the internet. So I don't want to sit here and say it's your fault for getting hyped up, it's your fault for getting excited. Because it's not. They are trying to get us in that state to click on things, to engage with their content. People weaponize this thing that everybody loves and is looking forward to for clicks, for monetization. But what we need to do is we need to be diligent. We need to actually read the articles that come out and say, Fallout 3 Remaster's coming soon, to see what it actually says. We need to look more into the claims to see if they even make sense in the first place, or in the context that they are given. And that's the part that we are responsible for in order to make sure that we're not being completely led by the nose into this false hope, into this hype cycle that starts with this awesome rush and we're so excited, and then an inevitable crash when it turns out, hey, there's nothing really here. Really what we need to expect is precedent. By looking at the Oblivion remaster, how that was handled, how that was released, to give us a good idea of what we can expect. Like the Oblivion remaster, I only expect to hear legitimate information from leaks. Bethesda plays very tight-lipped with these projects. Since this is apparently how Todd prefers to release games, and he was really pleased with the results of the Oblivion remaster and how it was done, received, and released, I would say that is what we should expect of Fallout 3 and the coming Fallout New Vegas remasters. So if you see a countdown, don't automatically assume that it is for a Fallout 3 or New Vegas remaster. It is more than likely not. Be critical and guard yourself so that people don't profit off your hope, and be patient. It will come. That much we know. Like I said before, I like to play a little conservative with my estimates, and so I am not expecting to see the Fallout 3 remaster this year, but rather in 2027. That way, if it does come out at the end of 2026 or sometime this year, I will be very pleasantly surprised. So really what I'm trying to say is, don't give up hope because it is coming out. It's been planned for many years. But also, make sure to do some due diligence to make sure that you're not getting on the hype roller coaster, you know, the one that they didn't finish, and so at the end of it, you crash. That's what I got for you. Be happy, be hopeful, but be realistic. Now for a little show and tell, I got right here the BioShock Rapture, there we go, BioShock Rapture novel for my birthday, which was not that long ago. In fact, that's what this is all about. My son so graciously gave me this little blue ribbon. I'm really excited. I love BioShock, so I'm really excited to read this. I've heard it's actually really good. I'm always a little wary of game integrations when it comes to movies or TV shows or books, because more often they miss than not. And if you really love a franchise, that is going to be kind of devastating. I felt this way a little bit about the graphic novels related to Dishonored, which is another series that I really love. They just weren't quite there. I don't know. I need to kind of think about how I feel and why I feel that way about them. But I've heard great things about this, and I realized I hadn't read a physical book in quite a while. I do a lot of audiobooks because I'm usually doing projects or cleaning, you know, painting walls or doing the dishes or something like that. And so sitting down and being able to read, I haven't been able to do that in a while. So I opted for a physical copy rather than an audiobook because I think that is something that we need to make sure we do every once in a while. So you should think about the last time you read a book. If it's been a while, just saying. There's one author I like quite a bit, Brandon Sanderson. I've read a lot of his books and a lot of his series. I really like how he creates his universes. I found myself preferring magic systems over just nebulous magic. That is to say, I would put Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter into the nebulous magic category. What can it do? Seemingly anything. How can it be done? Well, we're not quite sure. And it ends up kind of making very convenient plot devices, which I think can lead to some weaker writing. Not saying those two have weak writing, I'm just using those as probably the two best examples of nebulous magic. One series that I'm re-listening to is the Demon Cycle, which has some very cool concepts. So you should give those a read if you're interested in series like that. Alright, that's all I got for you. Fallout 3 Remaster, it's coming. I'm excited for it. Don't fall for all the false hype and hope and all of that stupid stuff. Right out.